You got the raise, the promotion. The number you'd been chasing for 2 years finally hit your bank account, and 6 months later, you are somehow, impossibly, still broke. Different apartment, nicer restaurants, better car, same financial stress, same math that doesn't add up at the end of the month. Here's what nobody warned you about. That raise didn't fail you. Your brain did. And it's been running a program designed 200,000 years before your job even existed. You told yourself it would be different this time. You made plans, save 20%, invest the rest, finally breathe. And then, almost without noticing, you upgraded your coffee, your gym, your streaming subscriptions, your definition of what counts as the basics. And the worst part, every single one of those decisions felt completely rational. You earned it, you worked for it, you deserve it. What you didn't know is that deserve it is not a thought, it's a neural command. And it fires automatically the moment your income goes up. Not because you lack discipline, but because the brain you're carrying has a survival protocol that gets activated by one specific trigger: more resources. The problem is that protocol was written for a world that no longer exists. And every raise you get without understanding this is costing you more than you think. How many raises have you already gotten and spent entirely without realizing it? Here's what was actually happening in your ancestors' brains 200,000 years ago. A successful hunt meant excess food, and in that environment, excess was never safe. Predators smelled it. It rotted. The weather shifted. The tribe that survived wasn't the tribe that stored, it was the tribe that consumed immediately and completely. Use everything, waste nothing. Upgrade now because tomorrow this window closes. The individuals who hesitated, who thought, maybe I'll save some of this for later, statistically didn't make it. The ones who feasted, upgraded their tools, signaled their status within the tribe the moment resources increased. They reproduced. They survived. They passed that wiring directly to you. You are not fighting a bad habit. You are fighting a survival mechanism that worked flawlessly for nearly 200,000 years. Which means the moment your paycheck goes up, your brain doesn't think invest. It thinks consume now before the mammoth goes bad. And it doesn't just happen once. It happens in 3 specific phases, each one more invisible than the last. Phase 1 is the status recalibration. The second your income increases, your brain quietly updates your tribal rank. You make more now. That means you're higher in the hierarchy. And higher rank requires visible signals. Not because you're vain, but because in ancestral environments, status mismatch was dangerous. A high-ranking individual who signaled low status got challenged, got excluded, got vulnerable. So your brain scans your environment and finds mismatches. Your car doesn't match your new salary. Your apartment feels a little beneath you now. Your clothes send the wrong signal. This isn't your ego talking. This is a threat detection system doing exactly what it was built to do, and it will not stop until your consumption matches your rank. Phase 2 is what behavioral scientists call the scarcity paradox, and this one is genuinely strange. The more money you have, the more anxious your brain gets about losing it. Not less, more, because now you have a higher standard of living to protect. Your amygdala reads elevated status as elevated risk. More to lose means more to fear. And its response to that fear is the same response it's used for 200,000 years. Secure comfort now. Spend while you can, because the future is uncertain and the present is real. Phase 3, and this is the one that keeps people earning $200,000 feeling as financially trapped as people earning $60,000, is the comparison escalator. When you made less, you compared yourself to people making what you make now. Now you compare yourself to people making more. Your reference point shifted upward the moment your income did, and so did your baseline for enough. You didn't get richer. You got a new floor and a new ceiling you're already staring at. Here's the part that reorganizes everything. This isn't about self-control. It never was. Studies consistently show that people spend 90 to 110% of every raise within 12 months. That's not a discipline failure. That's a biological prediction coming true. And the people who are actually good with money didn't figure out how to be more disciplined. They figured out something that goes against everything you've been taught. They stopped trying to fight the instinct and started redirecting it. Because here's the thing about evolutionary programming. You can't delete it. You can't logic your way out of a survival drive, but you can hack it. Before we get to how, you need to understand what this is actually costing you. Because this is where most people dramatically underestimate the damage. The average American spends the equivalent of 30% of their total lifetime raises on upgraded consumption that they no longer even notice. Not luxury, not vacation, just the upgraded version of what was already fine. That $300 more per month in improved quality of life, the better apartment, the meal kit subscriptions, the upgraded phone plan, at a 7% annual return over 20 years, is over $180,000. That's not retirement savings. That's not a down payment. That's the ghost of raises you already spent. And the truly brutal part, none of it made you proportionally happier. Research on hedonic adaptation is unambiguous. Humans return to a baseline of satisfaction within weeks of any lifestyle upgrade. Your brain experiences the new normal as just normal. The nicer apartment stops feeling nice. It just feels like where you live now. You upgraded your life. You didn't upgrade your happiness, and you paid $200,000 for the confusion between the two. This is the trap that has no obvious exit. Because every strategy you've probably tried, budgeting apps, spending trackers, willpower operates on the assumption that you just need to be more conscious, more intentional, more disciplined. But consciousness and discipline are cortical functions, slow, effortful, and completely outgunned by a survival system that operates in milliseconds. You're trying to stop a 200,000-year-old reflex with a spreadsheet. So here's the actual solution, and it comes from the same evolutionary logic that created the problem. Hunter-gatherers didn't only consume excess immediately. They did something else with it, something that turned out to be the most powerful wealth-building behavior in human history. They shared it with the tribe in exchange for future reciprocity. Not charity, strategy. I give you meat today, you give me shelter when my hunt fails. They were building social insurance, a future-proofed resource network. And the key insight is this. That behavior was accepted by the primitive brain because it matched the ancient pattern. Excess resources go outward, not to personal storage, outward, into a network that creates future security. This is the hack. When you get a raise, your brain will reject "save it for yourself" as an abstract future concept, too uncertain, too distant, too counter to the consume now protocol. But it will accept "send it somewhere outside your immediate control" because that mirrors the tribal sharing pattern. In practical terms, within the first 72 hours after a raise hits, before your brain has locked in new spending expectations, you automate a transfer to a separate account you cannot easily access. Not because you're disciplined, because you're giving the primitive brain a story it already knows. Excess goes to the tribe. Your future self is the tribe. The 72-hour window matters more than almost anyone realizes. After that window closes, your brain recalibrates its baseline. The new number becomes the new normal. And saving from the new normal feels like deprivation, because neurologically it is. But in that first 72 hours, the old baseline is still active. The upgrade switch hasn't fully flipped yet. That's your moment. As for how much, the sweet spot is 50% of any net raise increase. Not 100 that triggers the deprivation response and the system collapses. Not 10 that's too small to interrupt the pattern. Half. Split it. Give half to future you before your lifestyle has any chance to adjust. The people building real wealth on ordinary incomes aren't more disciplined. They're not wired differently. They're just working with the biology instead of fighting it. They're not asking their cortex to overpower their amygdala in a daily battle of willpower. They're giving the amygdala a compatible story, one it recognizes and accepts. The resources went to the tribe. The tribe will protect me. You don't have to be exceptional. You have to be strategic about the 172-hour window that every single raise creates before the upgrade switch flips for good. One last thing, and this one will stay with you. The raise you got didn't fail. The brain you have was the most successful survival machine in human history. The problem isn't that it's broken. The problem is that you've been deploying a hunter-gatherer in a salary negotiation, in a subscription economy, in a world designed by other hunter-gatherers who figured this out first. Give it the right environment and it builds wealth. Give it the wrong one and it spends every raise before you even feel it. The question now is, how many 72-hour windows have already closed without you knowing? If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because the next video exposes the second moment your caveman brain quietly destroys your finances. It's even more invisible than this one, and almost nobody catches it in time.